Hello, hello, everyone. We're back with another episode of Launch Coach Football. I'm Daniel,
And I'm Chelsea.
and this is our first episode of me as a 30-year-old now. So, yay, I'm officially an old man. An old,
Yay! I'm still in my 20s.
uh,
Old, old.
well, if Tom Brady proves anything, I'm still got another decade and a half in me of being the best podcast host in the world.
That's the spirit.
Exactly, my back, and also my backwards. Anyway,
Oh my gosh.
anyway, so yeah, the NFL will decide to. We'll talk a little bit about the draft and everything, but then the NFL will decide to kind of have just blow up for us during the weekend with the Giants and the Bengals. They, it's weird because anytime you hear these trade rumors, like this guy asking for me to trade out, there's rumors about trade, it doesn't happen so quick. Maybe it's just because around draft time it happened quicker than usual. But yeah, Dexter Lawrence is now a Cincinnati Bengal. The Bengals trade gave away their 10th overall pick to get Dexter Lawrence, and they immediately signed him to an extra year, 128 million, which I guess if like I think Lawrence wanted a long deal, but 1 year 20 you got 28 million. You're one of the highest paid D linemen in football. So but yeah, so I guess initial thoughts about the trade, Giants, Bengals, it's I did not expect this happen to happen, honestly.
I think I mentioned this maybe a month or two ago. I think we had talked about Dexter Lawrence at one point, maybe when he first announced that he wanted to be traded. It was kind of giving Brian Burns getting traded from the Panthers. The Panthers didn't want to pay Brian Burns because Brian Burns had a bad year. Brian Burns was never a bad player. Brian Burns was just stuck on a sucky team and he had a bad year. So they trade him to the Giants, and what happens? Brian Burns had what, like 13 sacks last year, and
Yeah,
they paid
career
him.
year.
And Panthers fans are like, Dan Morgan, why? That's kind of what this trade is giving. Like Dexter Lawrence had a bad year last year on a very bad defense. And I will say, there's some talk going around about his work ethic and things like that. I don't know how much
Uh,
credence that has necessarily. It might just be angry Giants people. But that's kind of what it's giving. Like Dexter Lawrence had a bad year. Giants didn't really want to pay him. Dexter Lawrence gets traded. I'm sure Dexter Lawrence will have like 15 sacks this year or something crazy.
yeah, I'm sure he's
That's
about.
just kind of what it's giving because Brian Burns was never a bad player. He just had a bad year. And Dexter Lawrence is not a bad player. He just had a bad year. So even if he has work ethic issues, which I don't know if I fully believe, I think he'll be fine. So honestly, I feel like this is one of those rare trades where it's a win for both sides. I will say I was not expecting a top 10 pick for him. I think he is one of the best defensive linemen, specifically defensive tackles, when he is playing at his usual level. Um, I thought they'd get like a mid to late first for him. 10th is crazy. I was not expecting 10, but if you think about it, I mean, it makes sense for both sides. The Bengals are this close away from Joe Burrow requesting a trade because they can't win any games because their defense is terrible. And the Giants had a guy who didn't want to be there, and they got draft capital for him with a new coach and, in John Harbaugh, trying to rebuild their team around Jackson Dart and kind of, get it to a point where it can be competitive in the NFC East. So, I mean, I like it. I like it for both sides. I mean, you'll hear people argue, oh, the 10th pick that they gave up, it's a lottery, which all picks are a lottery. And it's like, oh, they wouldn't find someone better than Dexter Lawrence in the top 10.
Well, so
If
far.
Dexter Lawrence is playing at his typical level, I agree. I don't think that they would. I think Dexter Lawrence, when he is playing at his usual level, is like a top three defensive tackle in football. So I agree with that sentiment. But here's to hoping that last year wasn't a fluke, that he actually does play up to his level. But I like it for both sides. And now you have both New York teams with two first round draft picks. So New York sports radio is just going to be on fire on Thursday. It's going to be awesome.
It's and if they mess it up, it's gonna be even more fire on Friday.
And if they double mess it up, then it's going to be extra, extra fire on Thursday and Friday.
I
So
get.
tune in to New York Sports Radio on Friday if the first round goes very poorly for either team, because it will be very entertaining. Take my word for it.
Well, according to the ESPN mock draft, the Giants are just go. They just go pull New York Knicks and just draft everyone from the same team. They have Sonny Styles from Ohio State and then Caleb Downs from also Ohio State just to be your linebacker and safety. That'd be a good
Caleb Downs
combination.
is Josh Downs' brother. Fun fact. The Colts wide receiver.
I actually did not know that, so that is a fun fact.
They do a podcast together, actually. So it's funny seeing Josh Downs,
Okay.
who did
Well,
not go to Ohio State, talking crap to his brother.
let me guess the name of the podcast. Is it called The Land Down Under?
No, good guess though. I think it has something to do with like first down or something, which,
Oh.
makes sense.
But, oh wow, so it's almost like a Tiki and Rondé Barber situation like back in the day. It's
Yeah, yeah,
just
for
reversed.
sure.
Or
Yeah,
what am I talking about? They're literally the Colts and the Giants. What other brother pairings were known for the Eli and Peyton situation
for
instead?
sure. Yeah, but no, I mean, I feel like in totality, I feel like it's a good trade for both sides. I mean, perhaps the Bengals gave up a little bit more than he's worth if you consider the way that he played last year. But outside of that, I mean, Joe Burrow's got to be happy because he finally got a prolific defensive player who has a very good reputation for being one of the best in football. And then the Giants get
Um,
two top 10 picks. So if Jeremiah Love drops to them at what are they at 4? If he drops them at 4, they can take him and not feel bad about it because they can still get a top defensive player in the top 10, 5 picks later or 6 picks later. So it really is kind of the best of both worlds, especially for Giants fans.
I was about to say I don't want to rain on Cincinnati's parade. So I'm just going to do a light drizzle on their parade. You only signed them for a 1 year deal.
No,
You
he
only
has 2 years left of his
Oh yeah,
contract
he has
before
two.
this.
Okay, so he has 2 years left on
Yeah.
con.
So it's
Okay,
3 years now, I
okay,
think.
okay. So that's a little better. I guess the second part is I feel like the Bengals last year, the biggest problem was the fact that they didn't have any secondary help. Like the teams could just throw on them the entire game. I'm not saying the front seven was anything special, but I
And they
feel
lost Trey Hendrickson too.
yeah, I feel like their biggest weakness was the fact that they couldn't guard anyone. That Bears game where they just couldn't stop Caleb. Well, no one could stop Caleb last year in the fourth quarter, but just in general, they just had the secondary was terrible.
Yeah.
And now you miss out the chance of getting a high draft pick, one of the best player in the secondary from either Caleb Downs, Mansoor, Delane, someone else you can get in
Yeah.
that range to.
Yeah, I mean, you can argue either way. I mean, yeah, if you're a Bengals fan, you're probably leaning one of two ways. You're probably thinking, dang, we really needed corner. Or, yay, at least we actually got someone who's proven himself. But I mean,
Yeah.
I know they did sign some people in free agency specifically on the D line, I think. I don't know if they targeted secondary. I can't remember. But I mean, they're probably just going to use what? 6 of 7 of their picks in the draft on defense. I mean, I don't know how you don't.
Well, well, then again, I'm a Steelers fan, so I always want to hate on Cincinnati. But I guess in terms of what the Giants do now, again, I talk about the Giants could get the linebacker and safety from Ohio State. They have options, and like I said, potentially get Jeremiah Love. They have the fifth and
They
tenth
could
pick.
even take the wide receiver from Ohio State if they were feeling crazy and Carnell Tate. That would be crazy.
Like I said, it's gonna be fun seeing just New York Radio on
Yeah.
Friday because
I'm
you got
looking forward to it. There's going to be a lot of fun in the first round.
yeah, and I guess technically we even though this trade has not happened yet. It's all but happening that the Patriots look like they're about to trade. They're going to trade for AJ Brown. They're going to wait till after June 1st. So this cap situation, dead cap, and all that stuff is bad for them for both teams to get traded after June 1st. So you would have to assume somewhat that whatever draft picks that the Eagles are going to use or the Patriots are going to use is going to be related to that trade. And now I'm just thinking, how much is AJ Brown would be worth? Would he be worth like? Because you didn't think Dexter Lawrence would be a first rounder. Is AJ Brown a first round at this point in terms of
I thought
desperation?
he would be a mid to low first round pick. I did not think he'd be a top 10 pick. And I think he's better than AJ Brown. So,
Okay, so you think AJ Brown would be more like a date like
like a second,
second and a fourth or
a
a
second and a
second and
fifth.
third?
Yeah, something like that. I would be surprised if they got a first for him. Not that he's bad. I mean, I still think he's a top, what, 15 receiver in football, probably. But he is getting up there in age, and he is notoriously dramatic. So I'll be interested to see what they give up. Wouldn't shock me if it wasn't a first.
He's notoriously dramatic, but man, he can play. To me, like he went when
He
he went
can.
to the Eagles last year, or was it 2 years ago? But last year in Philadelphia, he was the big playmaker for them on that Super Bowl run. And I think with going to New England with Drake May, he's going to be replacements for this Stephon Diggs. You're going to a better
who
sit.
really didn't do all that much there anyway. So
I
you're
feel
really
like
not replacing that much value,
I
in
think
my
Dig,
opinion.
I think Diggs did. He had his moments. I don't think that you didn't get Diggs from his time. You obviously wasn't going to get Minnesota or Buffalo Diggs, but I think Diggs was a
Or
solid,
Houston.
or Houston, but he was a still solid number two receiver. Just if you asked him to be his number one, that was going to work.
Yeah, he just wasn't a good one. He would have definitely been better as a two or three. But no,
So
I mean, I think it's a good trade for the Patriots. I mean, they obviously need receiver help. Um, I'll tell you what, number one lesson learned from this story, Devontae Smith is going to be going real high in fantasy drafts come the fall.
oh yeah.
I really think he has the chops to be a wide receiver one. Everyone's concerned with him, when he got drafted. Oh, he's so skinny. Oh, he's so small. Bro proved that that doesn't make a difference. I mean, he gets hit hard all the time, and he's very consistent. So I think it'll be interesting to see if he can step into the role as the true one. But yeah, I mean, the receivers have, or the Patriots have like no receivers that are anywhere close to being a wide receiver one. So this should help their offense a lot. And their offense was decent, even with, almost no one relevant at the receiver position.
I'm just looking. The Patriots have well, they had the 31st pick. They lost the Super Bowl. Just like a receiver that the Eagles could potentially draft at that point to replace Stephon Diggs, AJ Brown. It's weird because we don't know what the trade actually entails, so it's hard to
Right.
gauge of what the Eagles or Patriots going to do in the first round, what they're going to do in the second round, because you don't know if for the deal the Patriots have to give up their first round pick or potentially give up their second round pick. They had
But if
the
he's not getting traded until June, that shouldn't make a difference, right? Like they
no
should be able to make their picks as they would anyway.
no it'll still make a difference because you would want the Eagles to tell you, hey, we want a first round pick and we're going to tell you this is like kind of the player we want. And like
Oh,
a
I guess that's true.
idea. Like,
Yeah.
because you can't just go off the board and say, like, we're gonna get whatever. Like, dude, we want your first round pick to be this specific player.
Gotcha. Yeah,
So,
fair point.
so like, I feel like I'm gonna guess. I would say they're gonna give up a first and a fourth. I'm gonna say a first and a fourth for AJ Brown. Mark down the
Yeah,
calendar.
I don't think they're getting a first. I'll say a second and a fourth.
Really, I guess I'm a little high on AJ Brown. Maybe,
No, I
maybe.
mean, it's not that I don't like AJ Brown. I just thought Dexter Lawrence was going to be a mid to low first. And I think Dexter Lawrence, when he plays at his usual level, is better than AJ Brown. I think Dexter Lawrence is one of the best defensive tackles in football when he plays at his normal level. And he was for some time. I mean, that was the consensus on him. So neither of them are bad by any means. I just,
uh,
it's so much easier to get a good receiver in the NFL than it is to get a dominant defensive lineman. So I just think his value is not as high.
I guess I'm looking more in terms of the desperation because I guess the Bengals are definitely
Yeah, that's
desperate,
true.
but New England definitely needed. If it's anything proved from from the Super Bowl a few months ago, New England desperately needs someone that could a game breaker on the outside. They didn't really have
Yeah,
that last year, and it showed when they
true.
had. It showed honestly throughout the playoffs.
I mean, it showed the whole. I mean, they played a lot of weak opponents, but they had a lot of moments across the course of the season where it really could have helped if they would have had that guy.
Yeah, so again, it's gonna be. I can't wait till June 1st. Like we're gonna see who the Eagles number two receiver gonna be. Who's the Patriots
Yeah.
like had to give up to get AJ Brown. It's gonna be interesting.
Tell you
Also,
what, if you're a Giants fan, you're double happy, right? Because not only did you get a first, AJ Brown's more likely than not leaving your division.
and
You have to
even
be happy.
and even happier than them is a Cowboys fan because they just signed an automatic kicker to a record-setting contract, 4 years, 28 million for can't miss Brandon Aubrey. I
He
like
deserves it, honestly.
he's been their most valuable player, honestly. Just like
He's really good. Started out as a soccer player as well.
I have to assume that happens more often than not. Like someone who's just a
You
college
would
soccer,
think.
just a college soccer player, like yo, you can kick it far and you're relatively accurate. Get on the football field.
Like, hey, you can kick it. Come join the football team. What's the worst that could happen? Yeah,
Can
no, 4 years, 28 million. I mean, in the grand scheme of contracts, I mean, nowadays that's essentially nothing, assuming it's spread out evenly across 4 years, which I don't know if it is or not. But no, that's a big signing for the Cowboys. I mean, he is one of their most prolific offensive weapons, and he's not even on offense. And they have a good offense, so that's saying something.
You literally they just get to the midfield and like, okay, we're in field range. That's an advantage. I don't think people really understand how much of an advantage having a top tier kicker is. I like the Steelers have Chris Boswell. Once we pass like the 50-yard line, like okay, this is Boswell's range. The
I
fact
had
and
him in fantasy last year, and I can attest to the fact that once he got past the 50, it was Chris Boswell territory.
which is just more rage inducing the fact they couldn't get to the 50 so much time
Yeah, that
throughout the
tells you about the
season.
state of the Steelers offense last year.
And now the whole I'm not sure if you've been looking story and like Aaron Rodgers still hasn't contacted them, giving them the plans about retirement
Sounds
or
about
not.
right.
They they like
You can't want him back, dude. With all this drama, he's not even communicating.
it
I mean, I know there aren't many better options, but like, come on.
that's what I mean. It depends in terms of what do I want for the team. I'm not sure why.
Will Howard, anyone? No, I'm just kidding.
Do I want to tank and just say, you know what, we're just gonna have a bad season? It's fine. We're just gonna
Well,
tank.
next year is going to be a great quarterback draft. I mean, right now, there's like 6 to 8 guys that could go in the first, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Or do I want, but that's what it comes down to. If Aaron Rodgers goes back to Pittsburgh, they're probably going to win. They're not going to be like a top 8, top 10 draft team. They're probably win
But if there's
six to
six
eight games.
guys who could go in the first, you could still get one. Might not be the number one quarterback that you want, but if there are that many that end up being first round graded guys, you could probably still get one,
Yeah.
E- even if you're in the teens.
And then it comes the case of, do I really want to see Howard play? Not really, but you know what? Why not? No, well, crazy stuff has happened.
You
Like,
don't. Yeah,
there's been,
you don't. Wouldn't
I'm,
shock me if the Steelers spent a late round pick on someone though.
that's the
Like if you
same.
went out and took like Drew Aller in the fifth or something.
There's been rumors about them going and getting Carson back. I'm just like, okay, like, well, at that point, I'm just saying, what are we doing? At that point, just keep Will
Rather
Howard.
have Will Howard
Yeah,
than
just keep,
Carson Beck.
just keep Will Howard. Let him play and see what happens. Like,
Yeah, give
what?
me
Why you?
Will Howard over Carson Beck, and I don't even like Will Howard.
Carson Beck was. I was surprised you don't like Carson Beck more. He helped give you the championship. He helped give
Well,
you
he
that.
actually played better against us than I expected.
Really? I knew he was.
Yeah.
I saw he was going to be decent, but I figured if it's a competition between Will Howard, Carson Beck, or Fernando Mendoza, yeah, Mendoza's good. And Mendoza didn't play his best game, but I think that's more with the Miami's defense. But he made the plays at the end where Carson Beck do a pick at the end.
Man, I'll tell you what, this is unrelated related, but I feel like Ruben Bain's stock has dropped. Like, is he probably still going to go in the top 10? Probably. But I mean, at one point during the college football playoff, people were talking about him as like a top 5 guy.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah, we that was the whole thing last week. It's just the fact that the whole thing about arms and everything. People again are like, oh, his arms are small, or too small. Like, okay,
Be like, oh, he's only 6'6" and his arms are only, twice as big as mine. But no, that's definitely a deterrent. I mean, come
I
on, people.
I guess for football, I guess for us mortals,
Yeah.
not the superhumans that play the NFL, but they still haven't projected going to 9 to KC. There's still a question of KC. There've been rumors. There's been so many rumors. Draft analysis is so weird because in my drafts is so weird because there's just so many rumors about trades and stuff at the same time.
Man, I mean, you think about, chatter around the NFL draft 2 months ago. One of the top headlines was the Saints and the Chiefs going after running backs and targeting Jeremiah Love. And then they went out and signed, Travis Etienne and Kenneth Walker, respectively.
Yeah.
And it's like, once that happened, that headline died and it never came back. And now it's like he might go number 2 to the Cardinals. And it's like 2 months ago, the Cardinals had so many other needs. It was like, oh, they'd never do that. And now it's like they might. So it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's it's the NFL draft. It's football.
Yeah.
And
And they're projecting it might be a trade heavy draft as well, which just makes things even more interesting. I think Thursday is going to be fun.
well, maybe your Colts will trade back into the first round.
A girl can dream.
They do want to trade Anthony Richardson, but I don't think he'll get a first rounder for you.
Well, they've been trying to trade Anthony Richardson for like 3 months, and there was a headline that came out that said no one was interested. No
What?
one. Not one team, not the Viking-led JJ McCarthy,
Kyler Murray.
in Minnesota, not, someone to sit behind Matt Stafford when he inevitably retires, not even the Browns. It's bad.
Yeah. Well, you know what? No one wanted Kirk Cousins, and now he's the backup for. Well, I'm gonna say Fernando Mendoza because unless the
Gosh,
Raiders,
you want to talk about two guys that could not possibly be less Las Vegas Raider-esque than they are. That's going to be so funny
it's
watching
fa
that dynamic.
it's a sitcom. It's a father and son sitcom.
It's hilarious. I hope they do like Hard Knocks or something for them because that would be so funny.
And you just talk about 2 months ago, like all this stuff. 2 months ago, Matt Crosby was a Raven.
I mean, gosh, 6, 8 months ago, no one I laughed when Conlon read a way too early 2026 NFL draft that had Mendoza in the first round. I laughed. I was like, LOL, no one in Indiana goes that high. Well,
Oh,
that changed
yeah.
pretty quickly, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's what the last big signing so far has been. San Francisco re-gearing up, getting Trent Williams to protect Brock Purdy and CMC, 2 years, 50 million. One of the best offensive linemen of this generation. You can't go wrong with him. As long as he's healthy, he's getting up there in age, but you know what? It's 2 years, so you're hoping that he can just stay, relatively
Honestly, I feel like in
top
the
of his game.
grand scheme of really good offensive tackle contracts, that this is pretty moderate.
I think this
I
is
mean, the
a,
top ones
a
are
home.
making 30 plus, right?
Yeah, this is a combination of he's a little older, giving me like a little hometown discount, and also 2 years, 50 million. For a person at his age, that's not something to sneeze about. He's not going to get like the big money as well. I completely forgot about the Texans' big signing, the big money up from the other linemen, but this is very much 2 years, 50 million. Is something he signed it, so it's clearly something he wanted. He wanted the insurance as well as the money per years.
Right.
So as long as you get off that stupid practice field, you should be fine.
Gosh, man, since they were so injured last year, one has to think that they would have no injuries this year, right? That's me knocking on wood.
That's me. That's literally what I said. Like when I picked CMC, when like, well, CMC got injured, so the San Francisco can't get that injured again, and everyone got injured, and then the backups
Oh,
got
how
injured.
wrong we were.
I guess the other big signing this past weekend was Will Anderson Jr., 3 years, 150 million.
He
He was,
deserves it.
yep.
He's a dog.
I was nothing to say here. He's a top
Yeah.
tier player. Houston has
Yeah,
a
he
top
deserves
tier
it.
defense.
Yeah, he deserves it. No notes.
No, it's just perfect. Just hope CJ Stroud just play better.
Yeah, I believe they picked up his fifth round or fifth year option, right?
Yeah,
Like a month or two ago.
this is going to be like a his make it or break it at this point.
Yep,
Uh,
that's true. I mean, gosh, you've got to be so conflicted if you're a Texans fan, right? Because CJ Stroud was phenomenal in his first year. Like that was probably the top of his talent. And I mean, at one point it was like top 5 quarterback play in football. I mean, he was spectacular. And then it's
yeah,
just kind of been a drop off since then. And it makes you wonder, it's like, okay, was that a 1 year wonder? Or is that going to come back? Because you'd be hating yourself if you move on, draft a rookie. Say CJ Stroud goes to the Vikings, for instance, and balls out with Kevin McConnell. And it's like, well, this is awkward.
just
So if you're a Texans fan, you're in a tough spot. I don't know what I would do if I were you. I don't know if I would want him gone, but I think I would definitely be like cautiously optimistic, like
I,
because he just hasn't looked great the past couple of years, but he was so good at one point. I don't know how you just write him off.
I don't think you really have a choice at this point because
Yeah,
yeah, you don't want to be like a tour situation where like you know what we'll give you the big contract and like he does not show the potential he had before.
right.
At the same time, he basically rescued your franchise after the entire Deshaun Watson situation. Everyone thought
Who's
Houston.
still on the team, by the way?
Oh, yeah, he's
Still on the
still.
Browns. Still there, in case anyone forgot.
Is he even going to start at this point?
Who knows? They have like 18 quarterbacks and none of them are good. Who even knows, dude?
My goodness, that's a whole other situation. So, yeah, it's I guess kind of not a quicker episode, but like the draft is here. Not gonna well, it's here in a day or two, but I
And
guess
it's going to
any
be exciting. I don't have any plans this weekend. Just going to watch the draft. It's going to be awesome.
I guess before that, any last takes, predictions, anything from the draft?
Well, I don't think the Colts trade into the first round. Um, if Sadiq is there, I don't know how the Panthers don't take him. If Sadiq is there and the Panthers don't take him, I will be mad as a casual Panthers fan, which means actual Panthers fans are going to be furious. I think tight end is a huge need for them, and Sadiq is really good. So I really think that they should take Sadiq, but they probably won't, knowing the Panthers. I kind of mentioned it earlier. I think the Giants take one offensive player and one defensive player if Jeremiah Love drops to four. If Jeremiah Love does not drop to four, they probably go double defense. But if he drops to four, I think they take Love at four and then they take a defender at 10. Um, or they take a defender at four and they take Carnell Tate at 10, which would go crazy. But I don't think that's very likely. I think it's either Jeremiah Love and defense at 10 or it's double defense. Because there is talk about the Titans being interested in him, about the Cardinals being interested in him. So I don't even know if he'll make it to four. But if they really like him, they have the leverage to trade up. I mean, you could trade your 10th pick and your fourth pick to move up to two to take him. I'm sure they would do that. Um, so we'll see. But yeah, that's my prediction. I think it's probably double defense. I think someone gets really high on Jeremiah Love in the next 2 days and takes him in the top three.
Okay.
And the Jets will take a receiver at 16, where we would have been. I don't know who it'll be, but it'll be some kind of receiver.
I was about to say, for my prediction, the Steelers are going to break precedent, actually take a receiver in the first round. It's either going to be Concepcion or Omar Cooper Jr. Because they usually,
Omar Cooper's a dog, dude. He's a dog.
I wouldn't be mad as long as it's not Ty Simpson. Don't draft another quarterback at this point. But I
I
guess
think they take Ty Simpson.
I just like because the Steelers traditionally they're not always the best at drafting in the first round. They usually do better drafting in the later rounds. But I look at Omar Cooper and KC. I'm like, they definitely need more. They definitely need pass catchers. So I would be happy if I had Owe.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think they take Ty Simpson. I'm just saying that to troll you. No, just kidding. I actually do think they take him. I think that they are concerned about Aaron Rodgers. They don't know what's going on. They don't trust Will Howard, and they take a swing with a new head coach. And I, as a non-Panthers fan, even though my background would indicate, or a non-Steelers fan, even though my background would indicate I am a Steelers fan, I am not. I would be mad on your behalf if that happened.
Oh yeah. At that point, I would much rather have like Carson Beck as a day two draft pick than use your first on Ty
Or a day
Simpson.
three draft pick. I mean, you could probably get Beck in like the fifth round.
You really think he'll be day? I think he'll be like a third or fourth rounder.
Unless someone is desperate, that would be the only reason he would go that high.
We are desperate. I am desperate.
Okay, but Carson Beck is not good. I would take Ty Simpson over him.
Oh yeah, obviously. But we take Ty Simpson, a first rounder. If you have to, will you spend your first rounder on Ty Simpson, or would you wait a day two on a Carson Beck? Because this also comes down to,
I don't think I'd want to spend my first rounder on Ty Simpson. Maybe he'll drop to the second. If he
I can
drops to
see
the
that.
second, you guys could trade up to the top of the second and take him. I think that that is more fair value for him
Yeah, I can see that. I can see
instead of the teens in the first round. But
that's
that's
also
just my opinion.
that's my second prediction that Ty Simpson is not going to be a first round draft pick. But I think I've said
See,
that.
I think there are too many teams that are desperate. I think that it would not shock me if he went in like the top 15 to someone
That
who's desperate. It
that would
wouldn't shock
stun
me.
me. That would
Wouldn't
stun me
shock me.
completely.
I don't even think he's good, but teams are desperate. Wouldn't shock me.
I'm just looking at teams top 15. You got Tampa's 15. Someone could trade up the Ravens, the Rams maybe to like back up Stafford for a year or two. The Cowboys they want to clear off Dak eventually. Miami. That would just shock me. But
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would be shocked too. I'm just simply saying it would not be, I would not only be surprised because teams are so desperate. And since there's basically only two quarterbacks that could go in the first round, it would not shock me if someone traded up to take him out of desperation. It just
uh,
wouldn't.
I
Like if
love
the
you.
Vikings traded up and took him, wouldn't shock me. The Browns wouldn't shock me.
The Browns trade. We're gonna get this one right. We're gonna get another
I mean,
quarterback.
you know what would go insane? I do not think that this would happen. What if the Cardinals took him at two or at three?
Jacoby Brissett was just like, yeah, man, I'm just retiring at this point.
Man, I'm done. I don't think that that would happen, but if that did happen, that might be the craziest first round draft pick I will have ever seen in my life.
Oh, this is gonna be a fun Thursday. This is gonna be a fun
As long
draft.
as the Raiders don't screw it up, that's all I
Yeah,
care about.
I
If
love.
they do not take Fernando Mendoza and he goes to like the Titans, I'm going to be infuriated.
That's the same. That's the fun thing. There's only one thing that everyone knows is going to happen, and no one knows who the Jets are going to take in the second pick. They, like, no one who knows
Yeah,
who
they
the,
could go in any direction, honestly. What if they take Ty Simpson at four, at five, four, five, at five?
No, the Giants have five. The Jets have
or
two.
four. Or yeah, that'd be crazy.
I
Be like,
think
okay, we need a quarterback. Let's take Ty Simpson at two. I would probably fall out of my chair if that happened, and I am the furthest thing you could get from a Jets fan.
the draft's gonna be fun. Chelsea, and we'll be here recapping it like we recap every NFL story. Chelsea, tell us where they can find us.
Yeah, so thanks for tuning in, guys. Tune back in next week for our draft recap. In the meantime, follow us on our social media where we will be keeping you guys up to date. We are on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at Launch Codes Football, on X/Twitter at Launch Codes FB. And if you are interested in chatting during the draft, join our chat BCC group chat. If you need the link, hit us up. We can send that to you. We'll be active in there talking all things draft on Thursday. In the meantime, I'm Chelsea,
I'm Daniel,
and we will see you next week. Happy birthday, Daniel!
the Big 3-0.